A very, very good afternoon, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. My name is Ofofona Noakpan. My pleasure it is to serve as your MC for today, and I'm saying a warm welcome on behalf of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Nigeria, Abuja section, and of course the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, PENGASSAN Abuja chapter. Of course, this event is going to be very brand stimulating and of course engaging. On behalf of SPE Abuja, I say a warm welcome. On behalf of NUPRC PENGASSAN Abuja chapter, I say a warm welcome. I kindly appeal that you share the meeting link to all of your friends. We'd like to have all of your friends join us and learn as much as they can. This event is centered around providing resources and support tailored to the unique challenges faced by women in leadership position. It is our goal as SP Abuja section and NUPRC PENGASSAN Abuja chapter to foster professional growth amongst women in leadership positions. The theme for today's event is empowering women in leadership, harnessing the power of data-driven decision-making in the energy industry. And once again, I say a warm welcome to all of our very distinguished speakers. A warm welcome to all of our very distinguished panelists. A warm welcome to all of our very distinguished attendees. And of course, welcome, welcome. Please do us a favor, share the link on your private groups on WhatsApp, on your job groups, invite your colleagues, because we are about to learn so much today. You can do me a favor too. Go to the chat box, kindly drop a chat. Where are you joining us from? And what do you hope to gain from today's event? I'll read a few comments and then I will recognize dignitaries that have joined us here today. Just go to the chat box. My name is, I'm joining from this, and I hope to learn this today. That's all you need to do on the chat box. Just do that for me, please. I'll start reading all of the comments I see on the chat box. Where are you joining us from? And what do you hope to gain from today? Empowering women in leadership, harnessing the power of data-driven decision-making in the energy industry. Yes. So I'm about to read your charts for the next 3 minutes. And then after that, we continue with the event. Where are you joining us from? And what do you hope to gain from today's event? While I wait to read your amazing comments, let me continue by giving us a few safety, or we may call it housekeeping rules. So first of all, we kindly appeal that throughout the course of this event, you leave your phone on mute. We kindly advise that so that you don't interfere with the deliberations and the discussions we would be having here today. I also advise that if you're driving, kindly park in a safe space, because today's session is going to be very, very, very engaging. So just park and enjoy the session. Yes, if you're at home, don't carry your device to the kitchen so as not to have an explosion. I believe you are going to have a very, very safe deliberation. Let me read what Zainab Zira has said. She said she's joining from NUPRC Abuja headquarters. Welcome, Zainab. Please, where are you joining us from? And of course, what do you hope to gain from today's event? I would love to read and know how excited you are as regards today's event. Don't forget to share the link on your groups, because today is going to be quite engaging and brain stimulating. The next you can see on your screen right now is the agenda for today. This event is built to last for 2 hours. We'll have the arrival of participants, the safety brief, which I've already done. And then we would switch gears to a remark by the section chairman of SPE Abuja section. After that, we have the opening address by the NUPRC PENGASSAN Women Commission chairperson. We switch gears then to the keynote address, and then we have the lead address, and then we have the introduction of the moderator. The moderator will handle the panel session and the question and answer session. So I kindly appeal that whatever you're going to be hearing today, kindly take note of the questions you're going to have, because we're going to give ample time for question and answers. After that, we have the closing remark by our programs chair, Dr. Ikechiko Okafo. And then we have the vote of thanks by the chairperson of Pengassan Women Commission, NUPRC branch. And then we have the networking. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very brief. It's going to be very exciting. I kindly appeal that you give me all of your attention because SPE Abuja and NUPRC Pengassan brand is doing this for the women in Nigeria and in the energy industry. Kindly understand that this event is live streamed on YouTube. You can always go back to rewatch, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, I see Celia Korea. She said she is joining from SPE Maputo section. Amazing, amazing. I'm glad to know that we have Africans join this call. I have Aminat and Madami dialing in from Aberdeen. I hope to learn from the experiences of the amazing speakers. There is over 100 years experience packed in here. You can say that again, Madam Amina. I can see Onyekachi saying, I'm joining from NUPRC Abuja. I hope to gain everything the event has to offer. Bello says, good day, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm also joining from NUPRC Abuja HQ. NUPRC Abuja HQ, I celebrate you. I think we have the most of you on this call. We also see Dr. Sarah live from Warri, not the carry last. Looking forward to learning more about the utilization of data for decision support as it relates to women in leadership. I see so many comments. Blessing, Gideon, NUPRC, Zalifat. Wow, I'm joining from Abuja. I would like to lead with tools that will enable me in discharging my duties. Mohammed, I see what you said. The empowerment of women is the key to unlocking the potential of a nation. Kwana Benjamin, I see you. Oluwafeyi, I see you. Kende, I see you. Samalia, I see you. Amina Haruna, I see you. I say welcome. Let me continue by recognizing dignitaries we have here. NUPRC Lagos, Hamisa, I see you. I want to continue by recognizing a host of our dignitaries. Let me start by welcoming our leaders from SPE. I'll start by saying a warm welcome to our host for today's event, the section chairman of SPE Abuja, our leader, Engineer Victor Anoche. A warm welcome to you, sir. We celebrate you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Akban. I don't know if you could hear me.
I hear you loud and clear, sir. We also say a warm welcome to the NUPRC Pengassan Women Commission Chairperson, the co-host collaborating with SPE Abuja for this event. I welcome Farida Dan Ali. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. I celebrate you, ma'am.
Thank you, Akban. Glad to be here.
Of course, amazing, amazing. We are so pleased to have the Vice Council Chair of SPE Nigeria Council. She is the first woman to ever hold this position. She's a Section Director in SPE Abuja. We welcome Madam Amina Den Madami. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Akman. Glad to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to continue by recognizing all of our very distinguished speakers, and then I'll go ahead to welcome all other executives from both bodies. I'll say a warm welcome to the personality that will take the keynote address for today, Dr. Mrs. Senye Obi Lulu Briggs. She's Executive Chairman of Money Pulu Limited. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay. Kindly, we'll come back to you, ma'am. We also say a warm welcome to the Executive Chairman. Okay. We also say a warm welcome to the CEO of Zigma Limited, and of course, the founding president of WIEN, Women in Energy, Fumi Ogbe. Welcome, ma'am. We celebrate you, ma'am. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I love your voice, ma'am. We welcome the Deputy Manager of Digital Engagement and Social Media Coordinator of NNPC Limited. She is our moderator for today. Blossom Zurumba. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, thanks so much, Akwen. How are you today?
Oh, yeah, just fine. We are so excited to have you moderate today's event. We also welcome the Commission Secretary.
The keynote speaker is up.
Okay, the keynote speaker. Please confirm you can hear me, ma'am. Executive Chairman Moni. Okay. I'm not hearing you, ma'am.
I can hear you. Thank you so much for having me. I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, ma'am. We welcome all of the amazing panel discussants for today's event. We welcome the Commission Secretary and Legal Advisor of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, Barrister Olayemi Anyenechi. Welcome to you, ma'am. Please confirm you can hear me.
Thank you very much, Akwan. I confirm I can hear you. Thanks for having me.
phenomenal. To our SPE Regional Director for Africa, and of course, the Domestic Gas Business Opportunity Manager for SPDC. We welcome you, ma'am. We celebrate you, ma'am. We are so proud of you, ma'am. Ogogo Effiong. Welcome, ma'am. Please confirm you can hear me.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you for to all our sponsors and everyone who has joined this session here today. I'm looking forward to participating and, of course, interacting with everyone. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Of course, to the only man who will be on the panel session today, the Executive Director of Public Sector, First Bank of Nigeria, Shehu Aliyu. Welcome, sir. We celebrate you.
Good afternoon, Akpan. Thank you very much.
Yes, I should add that Shehu Aliyu was the first person to join this call today. Thank you, sir, for everything you do. We welcome the country manager.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome the country manager, Microsoft, Nigeria, and Ghana. Olatomiwa Williams. Welcome, ma'am. We celebrate you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. We welcome the project manager, Energy Sector Portfolio, Agency Francière de Développement. Welcome, Zainab Dati. Welcome, ma'am. Please confirm. You can also hear me.
Hello. Yes, thank you. I can hear you. You can just call us AFD so you don't stretch your French.
Okay, AFD.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Probably I'll come to use to learn some French. We also welcome the program's chair of SPE Abuja section, Dr. Ikechiko Okafor. Confirm you can hear me, sir. A warm welcome to you, sir. We also welcome the chairperson, PENGASSAN Women Commission, NUPRC branch. Of course, Mrs. Umu Balande Bello. Welcome, ma'am. Please confirm you can also hear me.
Thank you very much. I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. I welcome all executives from SPE Abuja section, all executives from NUPRC PENGASSAN chapter Abuja. I welcome the National Treasurer of PENGASSAN, Comrade Owen David. Welcome the branch chairman, NUPRC PENGASSAN, Comrade Okechukwu Anya. I welcome the PENGASSAN NUPRC Abuja chapter chairman, Comrade Ade, and of course, all other members of branch and chapter excos. Welcome all committee members. We say a warm welcome to all of you. We celebrate you to the necessity of purpose, and we say thank you for being part of us. The event is going to continue right now as we will be having the welcome address by our leader, the man that is telling SPE Abuja section to greater height. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, please give a virtual applause as we welcome Engineer Victor Anoche for his welcome address. Sir, the virtual stage is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Akban. You're talking about excitement. I think there's no one that is more excited than I am. Yeah, because of how important this event is. So I want to start by thanking all our distinguished speakers for finding that time to honor our invitation. We are aware that it's not easy to have you speak in events, but you've created time to be able to join us and to share from your wealth of experience. With today's theme, Empowering Women in Leadership, Harnessing the Power of Data-Driven Decision-Making in the Energy Industry, we aim to empower women and to increase the proportion of women in positions of responsibilities. We also understand the key role that women play in shaping our industry to what it is today. And this is evident with the lineup of speakers that we have today. I would like to mention that in SPE Abuja session, we are very passionate and intentional about women growth. And this is evident in our previous women targeted events. I would also like to mention that we also have other interesting events in SPE. Some are targeted to our communities, such as tree planting events and our upcoming science fair for secondary school. So I invite every one of us to partner with SPE Abuja. And special thanks to our organizing committee led by our own Farida for putting this together even within short notice. And today at the end of the event, I hope that we be more equipped and let's have an interesting deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Section Chair. Of course, section chair has told us that we are ready to have an interesting deliberation. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to switch gears immediately to the very next address. Of course, the next address will be taken by another amazing lady. She is the NUPRC PENGASSAN Women Commission Chairperson, Abuja chapter, also the committee chairperson for the planning of this event. Opening address by Farida Dan Ali. Farida, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Afan. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed participants. Allow me to stand on existing protocols, please. My name is Farida Ali. I work with the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC. I am the Abuja Chapter PENGASSAN Women Commission Chairperson and also the 2024 SPE Abuja Section Women Leadership Program Chair. It is my great honor to welcome you to the 2024 SPE NUPRC Women Leadership Program. The theme for this year's program is Empowering Women in Leadership, Harnessing the Power of Data-Driven Decision-Making in the Energy Industry. Empowering women isn't just about achieving gender parity. It's about unlocking untapped potential. When women lead, organizations thrive. Their unique perspectives, resilience, and collaborative spirit drive positive change. By promoting women's leadership, we create a more inclusive and dynamic energy sector. Throughout this program, we'll explore data analytics, leadership strategies, and industry trends. We'll learn from accomplished women leaders who have shattered glass ceilings and blazed trails. We will also learn from our well-experienced male leaders. Together, we'll build a network of support, mentorship, and inspiration. Let us embrace the power of data, amplify women's voices, and ignite transformation. As we embark on this journey, remember that each of you plays a vital role in shaping the future of our industry. Thank you for being part of this empowering endeavor. Let's lead with purpose, resilience, and data-driven excellence. Thank you, and I wish us all a successful deliberation.
Thank you, Farida. Thank you so much for your amazing speech. When women lead, organizations thrive. That was the key word I got from her speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to switch gears right now to listen to the amazing women who are actually making their organizations thrive. On your screen are the sub-themes for today's event. We have themes leading the digital transformation in the workplace, financial management for career growth, data-driven exploration and production, clean energy transition and innovation with data, and of course, the last but not the least, data-driven policy and regulation for sustainable energy. All of these are the sub-themes you will be hearing from and listening to our distinguished speakers. 8 of them, 8 resource persons. And we're going to start with the very first of them, who is the keynote speaker for today. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote address will be taken by the Executive Chairman of Money Pulo Limited. Her bio is on the screen, as you can see. She is the Executive Chairman of this organization, a dynamic pioneer, indigenous player in the upstream sector of Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Prior to that, from 2005, she was NPL's Executive Vice Chairman, overseeing government relations, compliance, sustainability, in line with NPL's commitments to clean energy and to reducing the flaring of gas in Nigeria. She is leading a gas commercialization project to bring the block's proven 1 TCF natural gas reserves to the market. We can go on and on her profile. Her career began in 1981.
This meeting has reached the maximum number of allowed participants. Why are you saying that?
We kindly appeal that you leave your microphone on mute if you're not speaking, so that you don't interfere with the deliberations we have today.
I now go to enter.
Thank you. Kindly leave your microphone on mute if you're not speaking. Thank you so much. Of course, she's an evangelist, and we can go on and on her accolades. A multi-award-winning professional. Your Excellencies, let's all get tuned to listen to the keynote address by Dr. Mrs. Senye Obi Lulu Briggs. Hello, ma'am. The virtual stage is yours for the next 20 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. The chairman, eminent co-speakers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor, I must say, to be here as your keynote speaker at today's Women in Leadership program, organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, PENGASSAN. I am Dr. Senye Lulu Briggs, chairman of Monipulo Limited, a pioneering indigenous oil and gas exploration company. I'm very thrilled to have the opportunity to share my insights and experiences of the past 19 years of my being the executive vice chairman and later chief executive officer of Monipulo Limited with you. Throughout my career, I have witnessed the transformative power of leadership and the critical role of data-driven decision-making in the oil and gas sector. Our journey at Monipulo, as some of you would note, have been one of resilience and forward-thinking while embracing data-driven decision-making to navigate the complexities of the oil and gas industry. Today's program, therefore, represents a significant milestone in our collective efforts to empower women in leadership. It speaks to the progress we have made in the sector and the potential that lies ahead when we harness the diverse talents and perspectives of women leaders. At Monipulo, we have witnessed firsthand how women contribute uniquely to our strategic direction, operational efficiency, and overall success. So being here with like-minded individuals from organizations that are committed to fostering growth and development for women leaders reinforces the point that together we can shape a more equitable and sustainable future for the energy sector in Nigeria and beyond. May I use this opportunity to extend my gratitude to the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the NUPRC, and PENGASSAN for organizing this vital event, I'll call it, and extending an invitation to me to deliver this keynote address. It is an honor. Thank you. The theme of this program, Empowering Women in Leadership, Harnessing the Power of Data-Driven Decision-Making in the Energy Industry, is timely and relevant. Empowering women in leadership roles is not only a matter of fairness, but a strategic imperative for progressive minds. The global energy industry stands on the brink of transformative change, and women with their unique perspectives and talents are essential to driving innovation and inclusivity. I urge everyone to actively engage in today's discussions as we explore how we can harness data and leadership to drive meaningful change in our industry and our beloved country, Nigeria. I'm confident that the discussants of the sub-themes of today's program will do justice to the issues, which I must admit were carefully articulated due to their relevance to the challenging, promising, and unique sector we operate in. Like digital transformation, for instance, revolutionizes business operations across the world by integrating innovative technologies, enabling data-driven decision-making, and fostering growth. Companies that adopt digital tools and data analytics can optimize operations and achieve sustainable success, especially in the energy sector. Engaging employees early, providing training, and phasing in changes can help overcome resistance to digital transformation. Also, financial management, that's crucial for career growth and leadership effectiveness. Empowering women with skills in salary negotiations, fund management, and strategic investment is vital for their advancement and financial stability. Women-targeted financial literacy programs, networking opportunities with successful women leaders, and mentorship can enhance these skills. Women entrepreneurs in the energy industry must navigate complex financial landscapes, secure funding, and build investor relationships for growth. Leadership in the energy industry involves high-pressure environments, making it essential to prioritize mental health and develop emotional intelligence. Promoting work-life balance, implementing stress management programs, and fostering a supportive work culture are key strategies. The importance of mental health in effective decision-making and leadership was highlighted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Women leaders excel in fostering resilient and motivated workforces by creating supportive environments. Overall, data-driven decision-making optimizes exploration and production in the energy industry. Leveraging data analytics, machine learning, and advanced technologies enhance efficiency and sustainability. So techniques like data-driven seismic analysis and predictive analytics transform the sector and unlock new opportunities. Nigeria's transition to clean energy aims for 30% renewable sources by 2030, with data-driven innovation playing a crucial role. Data analytics optimize renewable energy systems, enhance forecasting, and reduce costs, supporting gender equity and women's empowerment. So women leaders are instrumental in driving innovative clean energy solutions. Data-driven policies and regulations are therefore essential for sustainable energy goals. Leveraging data analytics enables informed strategies that promote renewable energy, enhance efficiency, and ensure stability. Then continuous data collection and analysis improve policy effectiveness, transparency, and public trust. Successful examples from Kenya and Brazil highlight the potential of data-driven policies in achieving sustainability. Distinguished guests, today I'm speaking on the critical roles played by women in leadership, the strategic advantage of leveraging data-driven decision-making, and how these elements can shape a more sustainable and equitable future for all Nigerians. The importance of empowering women in leadership. It is well established that companies with strong gender diversity, especially in leadership, perform better financially. They are more innovative and possess enhanced problem-solving capabilities. Research from McKinsey & Company shows that companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on executive teams are 25% more likely to have above average profitability. Similarly, Catalyst reports that companies with more women in executive positions have a 34% higher total return to shareholders. Diverse leadership teams bring a wealth of perspectives and ideas, fostering innovation and creativity. Data indicates that women leaders often bring unique insights and approaches to problem solving, leading to more effective and sustainable business strategies. Now, despite these advantages, women hold only a small percentage of executive roles in the global energy industry. According to the World Economic Forum, women make up just 22% of the workforce in the oil and gas sector globally. The International Energy Agency also reports that women comprise 32% of the renewable energy workforce. SaveOnEnergy.com notes that women have the highest representation in the solar energy sector, accounting for 40% of the workforce, mostly in administrative positions. Also, in the wind energy, women hold 21% of the jobs, primarily in administrative roles. In Nigeria's downstream sector, only 2 of the 15 companies licensed to operate modular refineries are women-led. Those of us who have established a strong footing must therefore encourage and support budding female entrepreneurs in the oil and gas sector. Ladies and gentlemen, it is disheartening that female employees in the energy sector can earn nearly 20% less than their male counterparts, despite similar skill levels, ability, education, and experience. According to the International Energy Agency, that is, but in Nigeria, women hold less than 15% of leadership roles in the oil and gas sector. Similarly, women are underrepresented in data analytics, outnumbered by men 4-1. A 2020 report by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation indicates that women made up only 8% of STEM positions in the energy sector. I would, however, say that what we lack in quality or numbers, we make up for by the inspiring leadership of my fellow women in leadership within the Nigerian energy sector. We have the likes of Mrs. Folorunso Alakija of Famfa Oil, Senator Daisy Danjuma of South Atlantic Petroleum Limited, Catherine Uju Ifejika of Britannia U, Nigeria Limited, Ami Jadesimi of Ladol, Victoria Sampson of Bovas, Audrey Jo Ezibo of Falcon Corporation Limited, Bola Shagaya of Practoil Limited, and Awuneba Ajimogobia of Multistream Energy Limited, among others. I'm also proud to say that women are well represented on the board and strategically elevated in the management and staff cadre of Monipulo Limited. 50% of our board members are female, while the management team is 6% female who work hand in hand with their male counterparts. Honorable guests, we now know the barriers preventing women from reaching leadership positions in the energy sector. They are now clearer to us. 1, women are less likely to have had STEM education, which is the gateway to careers in the energy sector. UNESCO reports that only 30% of the world's researchers are women. And in Nigeria, women represent only about 22% of the STEM workforce. This is also an opportunity in disguise. It's time we directed our children towards science and technology, mathematics, and so on. 2, gender bias is a real issue. It remains a significant barrier. Women often face biases that discourage them from pursuing careers in the energy sector. And these biases negatively influence hiring and promotion decisions. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that women are often evaluated more harshly than their male counterparts during performance reviews. 3, the lack of women in leadership roles discourages some girls and women from pursuing careers in the fields because they see themselves as never getting to that top position since there are no women up there for them to want to be like. 4, mentorship and sponsorship are critical for career advancement. Yet, women in the energy sector often lack access to these opportunities. A study by the Boston Consulting Group revealed that women are 24% less likely than men to have a senior leader as a sponsor. 5, the demanding nature of work in the energy industry makes it difficult for women to balance work and personal life, especially in cultures like ours, where women are expected to take on the majority of caregiving responsibilities. This challenge is exacerbated by the lack of flexible work arrangements and the remoteness of many work locations. It's unlikely that any oil company would want to send or employ and send a female staff to go for offshore operations. Number 6, women entrepreneurs in the energy sector often encounter barriers such as limited access to funding, networks, and market opportunities. According to the International Finance Corporation, women-led businesses receive less than 3% of the global venture capital funding. Fortunately, the increasing recognition of the value of gender diversity in leadership has led many companies to launch initiatives supporting women's career advancement. Events like this one, Women Leadership Program, are instrumental in equipping women with the skills, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed. Having identified what the problems are, why women are not there, or why more women are not getting into the oil and gas industry, I believe that the problem is already half solved. Because once the problem is identified, it's now for us to work at providing solutions to these problems. Policies promoting gender equality and supporting women in STEM can address educational pipeline issues. Advocacy for flexible work arrangements and mentorship programs can also play a crucial role in enabling women to balance their professional and personal life's responsibilities. 3, theme introduction, harnessing the power of data-driven decision-making. In today's rapidly evolving marketplace, data-driven decision-making has become a cornerstone of successful business strategy. The energy industry, with its complex operations and significant investment, is particularly poised to benefit from data-driven decision-making, DDDM. According to McKinsey and Company, the use of big data and analytics can reduce operational costs by up to 30% and increase production rates by up to 8%. However, in Nigeria, data collection processes can be inconsistent, and available data may not be comprehensive or accurate enough to support advanced analytics. Many Nigerian companies face challenges in maintaining accurate records due to inadequate technology and resources. The NNPC has acknowledged these challenges, noting that limited data availability and quality issues can impede efficient decision-making and operational optimization. Based on Monipulo's over 22 years experience and active participation in the oil and gas exploration and production sector, I can firmly state that data-driven decision-making in the oil and gas exploration and production industry plays a critical role in enhancing operational efficiency, reducing costs, and improving safety. It results in the significant reduction in risks and operational costs. Data-driven strategies have also enhanced our operational efficiency by enabling real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance, which minimize downtime and improve overall productivity. Our exemplary safety record speaks to our commitment to data-driven safety protocols, which help us anticipate and mitigate potential hazards effectively. For instance, we carried out the drilling of 3 exploration wells in 2018 and 2 infill drilling in 2019. And data-driven decisions and actions played a major role on the success of the projects. I am especially proud to highlight the invaluable contributions of women in these data-driven initiatives. Their unique perspectives, analytical and leadership skills have been instrumental in shaping our strategic decisions, ensuring that Monipulo Limited remains at the forefront of innovation and excellence in the energy sector. This, of course, underscores the critical importance of fostering gender diversity in leadership roles as we continue to navigate the dynamic landscape of the oil and gas industry. Besides Monipulo, I am also aware that the CEO of Sustainable Energy for All, Damilola Ogumbi, has leveraged data analytics to promote renewable energy projects across Africa, improving access to clean energy for millions. Similarly, Habiba Ali, founder of Sosai Renewable Energies, uses data to optimize the performance of renewable energy systems in underserved communities. Honorable attendees, the impact of women leaders in shaping energy policies. Women leaders play a critical role in advocating for and shaping sustainable energy policies. Their diverse perspectives and collaborative approaches contribute to developing more inclusive and effective policies. Christina Duarte, former Minister of Finance and Planning of Cape Verde, has been instrumental in shaping sustainable energy policies in her country. Her advocacy for renewable energy and sustainable development has led to implementing policies promoting energy access and environmental sustainability. Women leaders are actively involved in developing and implementing policies, prioritizing sustainability and equity. Their leadership ensures policies address the needs of all stakeholders, including marginalized communities. Rachel Kite, CEO of Sustainable Energy for Aland, former special representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Sustainable Energy, has led global efforts to develop data-driven policies, promoting universal energy access and climate action. Her work has influenced policy frameworks in numerous developing countries, ensuring that data and sustainability are at the core of energy planning. Women leaders advocate for gender-inclusive energy policies that empower women and promote their participation in the energy sector, creating a more equitable and sustainable energy future. Like Dr. Amani Abuzaid, African Union Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy, has championed initiatives to integrate gender considerations into energy policies across Africa. Her efforts have led to developing policies supporting women's involvement in renewable energy projects and ensuring equitable access to energy resources. Data-driven policy and regulations are vital for advancing sustainable energy goals. By leveraging data, policymakers can create informed, effective, and inclusive strategies that promote renewable energy, enhance energy efficiency, and ensure a stable and equitable energy supply. Women leaders are crucial in shaping these policies, bringing diverse perspectives and advocating for inclusive approaches. Let us support and empower these leaders as we work towards a sustainable energy future. Dear gentlemen and ladies, there's a call for action, and that is how to tackle, or should I say, let us tackle entrenched gender bias and embrace data-driven decision-making. As I conclude, I must emphasize that the Nigerian energy sector is at a critical moment in history. There are tremendous opportunities to promote more women into leadership roles and adopt data-based decision-making to secure a productive future. Achieving this would require concerted efforts to overcome resistance to changing the status quo and embracing the transition to digitally driven workplaces. I've always advocated that while women should come together to network and support each other, they must insist on participating in predominantly male spaces and professional activities. Nothing shifts except by action. So women must therefore rise to take leading roles in the sector. This will encourage gender equity in the workplace, and it's a winning strategy. When we form groups and we discuss our issues, the problem or the solution to our problem definitely does not lie with us, the women. That's why we have them as problems. It means the solution to the problems lie elsewhere with the male colleagues. Therefore, when we gather, it's important that we include these men that we believe can understand our problem, listen to us, and see our value and utilize us so that there'll be progress in the entire value chain on the entire industry. To achieve this bold vision, continuous learning and adaptation are crucial. The energy sector constantly evolves, and staying ahead requires a commitment to lifelong learning. Embrace opportunities for professional development, seek new knowledge, and remain adaptable to change. By fostering a culture of continuous improvement, we can ensure our industry remains resilient and innovative. Platforms like this present us with important moments to check in, gauge our progress, and determine what we need to do to achieve our shared vision. We know what works. Address gender bias and stereotype. Ensure the SOPs are sensitive to practices that create barriers to women's career progression in the energy sector. 2, engage men as champions and allies for change. Boldly reach out to and involve men in our organizations and the sector. Also, advocate for gender-friendly, inclusive policies. promote policies that support gender diversity and inclusion, monitor and track progress, celebrate milestones and hold stakeholders accountable, provide mentorship and sponsorship, offer guidance and support to help women advance in their careers, invest in targeted STEM education, skills building and careers, encourage more children, especially girls, to pursue STEM subjects to build a strong foundation for future careers. Leverage data for strategic decisions. Use data to make informed decisions about diversity and inclusivity. Foster collaboration and networking. Build networks and foster collaboration to drive progress. Promote work-life balance. Encourage practices that support a healthy work-life balance, talking of mental health and professionalism. Then build resilient teams. Create inclusive work environments and teams that can adapt and thrive in the face of challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey ahead is challenging, but with determination, collaboration, and a shared vision, we can achieve great things. Together, we can transform the energy sector and create a legacy of innovation and sustainability for future generations. Thank you. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your very detailed keynote address. I'll kindly appeal, ma'am, that you will join the panel session shortly after the lead speaker has spoken. We have taken note of all of the amazing points you've given. Of course, you said that companies with strong gender diversity are more innovative. We agree with you on that. And of course, we agree with you with the fact that we need more women in leadership positions in the energy sector. Thank you so much. Please, I would like us to give her a virtual round of applause. You can also drop some keynote points you picked on the chat box so that we can refresh our minds. Thank you so much to our amazing keynote speaker for her time well spent. The very next speaker would be the lead speaker. Of course, the lead speaker is well ready to give us all of the knowledge she has upstage. She is the CEO and leading executive in the Nigerian oil and gas industry with over 30 years experience and a growing list of accomplishments. She is the co-founder and board of trustees member of Women in Energy Network, WIEN, a non-profit organization created to promote the participation and advancement of women in leadership across the energy value chain. Of course, you can go on LinkedIn and know more about her. Of course, her profile is on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the CEO, Sigma Limited, and of course, the founding president, WIEN, for her address for 15 minutes. Funmi Ogwe, ma'am, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Let me start by sharing my screen. Just give me a few minutes. Right, so Zoom wants me to leave the meeting before I can share my screen. So I won't do that. If it's all right, I'll just speak using my my screen.
Okay, it's fine.
Is that okay? Okay. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I think coming behind the keynote speaker is, a real blessing, and I'm really honored to be here, but also to speak behind such an accomplished and experienced female leader in the industry. And when you have a vision of the future, of what can happen when you speak about a topic, and you have someone share those experiences, and you can sort of see what the success looks like. It's always very helpful. So coming behind the keynote speaker is really fantastic. So I'm really happy to be here. Like I said, this 2024 SPE Abuja NUPRC PENGASSAN Abuja chapter Women Leadership Program. And I'm very grateful to the organizers, but also to the SPE for yet another session where they speak about female leadership and women empowerment. These two topics are things that are closest to my heart and have been the topic of my life's work. I studied sociology as my first degree at the University of Lagos, and organizational change and development at the University of Manchester for my master's degree. So a lot of what sociology is about and is sort of like study of society, of groupings, of concepts like leadership and gender diversity. So this is what I've sort of spent my career and my educational background studying. And I think at that time, a lot of people just thought, what is she doing? Why wouldn't she go and study something more serious? But I think as I've come along and as society has developed, it has become, something that everybody understands is very, very critical to national development for all people to be involved and for the groupings, for value to be extracted from groupings of society. So young people, female people, leadership, across all the different dimensions of society. And I think because I went to study it in school, I was fortunate to learn the critical components of leadership at a very young age. And so I got into leadership positions. I understood that, the gender issues were, sort of things that I needed to be aware of. And also, I think being raised by a military father, made me bold, and courageous. And so I asked for opportunities. And when I was given those opportunities, I took them very seriously. So at a very young age, like I said, I was opportune to hold leadership positions in large companies like Shell, British American Tobacco, Canadian Petroleum, USAID. At some point, I was managing 13 countries for BAT as their HR director. And I also worked in Ibadan Distribution Company. I think we had something like 5,000 employees. And I was managing quite a lot of people and leading a large division of the organization. And at 35, I think it was, I received an award from NUPRC for being a global top 40 under 40. So essentially, I felt, empowered. I was given opportunities, and I took them very seriously. According to Christine Lagarde, empowering women is not only the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. And like I said, in my career, I found that I delivered results with anything that I was given. I had this attitude of, I would try, no matter how difficult or impossible it seemed. I would never say no to a task or unexpected result. So essentially, I thank the SPE today and the NUPRC for doing the smart thing by putting on this program and for all the gender empowerment initiatives that have been done within the SPE and NUPRC. So let me sort of set the stone by talking about leadership. It's one of the most studied yet least understood phenomenon, and thus seen as the search for the Holy Grail. And as Chester Bernard sums it up, leadership is the ability of a superior to influence the behavior of subordinates or a group of people and to persuade people to follow them in a particular way towards a particular course of action. So therefore, it means that female leadership is the participation of women in positions of power and decision makings in industry with the will and capacity to use their own personality and abilities to guide, inspire, and develop fellow human capacity to achieve excellence in any area of endeavor. So you don't actually have to study engineering or geoscientist or be a finance person to be a leader. As long as you have the interest or the capacity and the will to use your personality and ability to guide, inspire, and develop fellow human capacity. So as leaders, women have the responsibility to drive their teams to achieve and exceed targets. It requires creativity, innovation, professionalism, and an ability to get the best from team members. There's no shortage actually of qualified women. If you think about the description that I've given, it means that there's no shortage of qualified women to fill leadership positions. However, in our country and also globally, women have had to work harder and smarter to get to the top. I think, like I said, the keynote speaker explained a lot, went into a lot of detail as to why that is to be, things like bias, cultural nuances, and so on and so forth. So today, women hold 17% of executive positions and 23% of board positions, according to an IFC report that I was looking at, which was looking at the private sector. And in the public sector is even worse. I mean, you look across all the government agencies in the oil and gas industry, and there's not one single one that has a female chief executive. And the ones that have women on their boards, they maybe have one or two, or, just very few women are sitting in leadership, in executive and board positions. However, we have a president that has said that the empowerment of women is the empowerment of a nation, and that we must prioritize gender equality and create opportunities for women to lead and contribute to national growth and development. So we believe that really this trend needs to change, and that it will indeed change. The State of Nation report by Powerful Women highlights the challenges facing Nigeria, that as a country, we will not develop if those challenges continue. And it's things around government opulence, a lot of corruption, high cost of living, insecurity. And that to address these issues, we must promote gender diversity and inclusiveness in leadership positions. Another report that I saw, which was the sort of Bain and Company portion of the report on gender equality, emphasizes the importance of gender diversity in achieving extraordinary results and outperforming the competition. So as an organization and as a country, I mean, this morning I was reading where Nigeria is now 4th in terms of the size of our economy in Africa. And why is this? Just because we don't have enough diversity in the leadership of our country. So if we want to achieve results and we want to outperform competition, we must have gender diversity in executive and in board positions. And we must leverage the expertise and innovation of female leaders. We can redefine our industries and create a more sustainable future. So the smart thing to do is to put on leadership development programs to make women understand what they need to do to be a leader, to use themselves and their will, their abilities to direct the affairs of other people. To have mentoring programs. Like I said, I was fortunate because I studied sociology and organizational development and change, and I had a military father who did not see gender as a phenomenon that prevented people from doing or achieving or being included in male-dominated things. So I think more women or more people need to have this sort of live and let live, enable other people, mentoring schemes, advocacy for inclusive policies, and driving diversity for a sustainable future, making intentional efforts to empower women to accelerate transformative power of data-driven decision-making in industry. And then, of course, private sector supporting same. I find that, I mean, from my experience, a lot of the resistance that I see that has occurred for gender issues is really from, you know, our same type of people. So people that are like, oh, why should it be that person and not me? So I think private sector is easy for private sector to see results, and therefore they can encourage gender, you know, female empowerment. I remember in 2020 when we started the Women in Energy program, the Women in Energy Network. It was really in response to that whole thing of, oh, but there are no women, you know, the private sector saying we would like to empower more women, but they're not there. And so we said, no, but we're here. And then we formed this network. And the network today, I think we're over 520 corporates, 500 women and 20 corporates that have joined and put hands to say, we are here, we are interested in participating, we're capable, and we want to join hands to participate in the industry for nation building. So at the moment, you know, like I said, we're sort of at the cream or at the top of the industry, but we believe that women at grassroots level should also get involved. We need to advocate gender support, and we need to sort of urgently close the gap, particularly in the upstream. The upstream is the least diverse segment of the oil and gas sector. I've sort of talked a little bit about why diversity is important, but I think, you know, everybody knows, but people also don't understand that, you know, if you look at the data, diversity is a strategic advantage in outperforming your peers and giving and delivering on outstanding results. And diversity is not just gender, by the way. So, you know, even though we're speaking today about gender, but it's also in race and in ethnicity. So it's not just something that is nice to do. It's actually smart to do because it really gives you strategic advantage. In terms of, you know, sort of linking it with data, you know, the sort of data-driven decision-making, which is what the theme of today is talking about. I think everybody will realize or agree with me that we're now in a data-driven world. So the amount of data that is produced every day is you know, it's a lot. And but it also has the ability, you know, to really be the game changer for any organization or for any society. You know, so if you look in our industry, the vast amounts of data that's being generated, you know, is potentially a game changer for operational efficiency, decreasing downtime, you know, improving safety, increasing reserves, improving production, ensuring transparency and traceability. And, you know, things like reservoir modeling, you can sit somewhere and look at your facility. So there's a lot of data, and we're in the data-driven world. However, if you don't have diversity, and if you're not able to get actionable insights into your operations, you know, you might as well not have all that data. And issues around data governance, data security, you know, organizational adoption and culture, you know, are things that is only when you have the diversity of purpose, the diversity of mind, and you have women who are able to, you know, sort of take all those insights and make it into actionable insights to make sure that the people who have to make the decisions or who have to do the work or who have to get the results are going in the right direction. So essentially, what am I saying? You have the data, you get the insights, you use it to move people in the direction of results. So diversity is that's sort of like how I see the link between technology and innovation, this data-driven decision-making, leadership, and women. It's just really that game changer that can help with making that difference and that turning that corner in what I see as a crossroads for our country and for our industry. We're just at that point where if we don't do something differently, first of all, funding is going to dry up. OPEC quotas are going to be non-existent. I mean, we as a country, we've committed to maintain reduction targets, and we've committed to net zero. So we're going to have to deliver on those things. So if we don't produce our resources at the right time, and we don't industrialize and develop our country to cater for the needs of over 150 people that we have that are under the age of 40, we're really sitting on a time bomb. We need to unlock the creativity and innovation that's going to turn our results around. So in conclusion, I'm just going to say, for me, when we speak about women empowerment, there's some things that I just think are just easy to do and quite urgent and will get us the right results. And as Christine Lagarde said, it's the smart thing to do. I believe that as a matter of urgency, we need to get women into leadership and technical positions. As a matter of urgency, immediately, we need to be striving for at least 50-50 of the agencies, of the organizations, of the technical positions that we have. Just get them into those roles, support them, and let them use their leadership capabilities to make the difference in the organizations and in the country. Additionally, I think we need to appoint women into board positions. It's terrible that we have 50-50 split in the population, and we don't have them represented in the organizations. It's atrocious. It just means that you have been given 2 legs and you choose to walk with one, or you have been given 2 hands and you choose to clap with one. I mean, how effective would you be, and how sound will your decision-making, will your ability to lead people into making results, and ability to outperform your competition or get results from anything that you do? You're almost sort of just taking yourself and taking your leg and shooting yourself in the foot. I also believe that as a matter of urgency, we need to support those ones. So once we've promoted them, appointed them, we need to support them with training and mentorship programs. We can't just say, oh, they're there now. We've given them the opportunities and watch them fail. And every organization, should have gender diversity and inclusion initiatives, whether you're in private sector or whether you're a government agency. I think it's important, because we've run all these policies and initiatives for so many years that are full of bias. And a lot of the bias is even unconscious. We don't even know that a lot of our policies and practices are excluding. So it's important that we adopt and promote gender diversity and inclusion initiatives. Over, I think, 20 years ago, I used to be the head of gender diversity and inclusiveness and change management for Shell. And so when people say, oh, but Shell is getting a lot of results, they're doing things right now, it's because they had people like us 20 years ago. So they were intentional about what they wanted to see in terms of results in their business. And so I think this is, it's almost like the foundation for getting it right. And then creating a supportive and inclusive work environment. We still have workplaces till tomorrow in Nigeria where people see women as perks of office, where women are still sexualized or used to go and buy food or go and make photocopies, and not extracted their value, their true value in the workplace is not extracted. So I think, this is one, again, that is a very easy fix. Once we understand that women bring something to the table, and that thing that they bring to the table is critical for success of, whatever that gathering of people is. So creating that supportive and inclusive work environment where people feel valued and supported is critical. I also think, like I said, women need to be mainstreamed as participants in the energy industry. It's too male dominated, and that's why it's not performing. It is not performing at all. If you look at any of the dimensions of success, the energy industry is falling way below. We are not able to meet any of our targets. So I think it's important as a matter of urgency to ensure that gender inclusive policies are in place to mainstream women. And I think, we all need to work together to harness the power of data-driven decision-making and empower women leaders to shape the future of the energy industry in Nigeria. As a leader in the industry, I have taken this upon myself. Any time I'm called to speak in my own organization, Sigma, we have a very high number of female leaders across the organization. And then, like I said, I've also co-founded the Women in Energy Network to make women savvy, to support and create increased participation. So I'd like to encourage you all here who are listening to me to join us as SPE and NUPRC in this effort to create a more inclusive and sustainable energy sector for all. Thank you very much for inviting me to give this, to share my thoughts and give this speech. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much, ma'am, for the amazing, thought-provoking speech. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, if you had taken notes, I would like to be seeing the notes on the chat box. She said you are given 2 legs and you decide to walk with one. Is that right? The advantages of women are so enormous. Of course, she's also stressed that every organization has to implement D&I initiatives and policies. This is actually right. And of course, the SPE is very particular about this. Thank you so much, Fumi, for this amazing speech. As we switch gears immediately to the panel session. Of course, the panel session is supposed to last, the panel session and the question and answers, all of it inclusive, is to last for 1 hour. 40 minutes for panelists and then 20 minutes for your questions. So we kindly appeal that please you drop your questions on the chat box and the moderator will read them and ask the panelists as it goes. Our moderator is the Deputy Manager, Digital Engagement and Social Media Coordinator of NNPC Limited. Her enthusiasm for digital media innovation at NNPC, where she serves as the Deputy Manager, Digital Engagement and Social Media Coordinator. She's a skilled communicator. She crafts compelling narratives that effectively showcases the achievements of Africa's largest energy company across diverse digital platforms. Of course, she's well-rounded skilled. Her well-rounded skills extends to her academic background. She holds an undergraduate degree in environmental management and a postgraduate degree in business analytics. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next 1 hour, we're listening to the sonorous voice of Blossom Zurumba. Hello, ma'am. The stage is yours for 1 hour.
Oh, thank you very much, Akban. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I would want to also thank our keynote speaker and our lead speaker. They have really set the stage for the next couple of minutes. And I want to thank them also for agreeing to be part of the panel conversation. So before I let them go, I think it's good I just quickly bring them back in and then ask a couple of questions to sort of set the stage, and then we'll bring in our brilliant panelists. So with pleasure, I would want to invite Dr. Mrs. Lulu Briggs. to just one question that we have for her, and then we can let her go and maybe continue to enjoy the session. So you are, of course, an industry leader, and I am certain as well. I was going through the profile of your company, and I saw that both the CEO and the deputy managing director are all women. So that's, I think it's the men now that should be crying about diversity and inclusion in Monipulo. So the future appears to be female in Monipulo. So in your view, how can women be better empowered to leverage data analytics for leadership roles? I know you've spoken broadly, but if you can sort of tell us exactly how this is being done in Monipulo, then perhaps we can take one or two key lessons from your organization. The stage is yours, Dr. Mrs. Lillie-Briggs.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, in Monipulo, what we have done is not to necessarily set out to empower women or to employ women. We create the enabling environment for all to grow. We are not against men, but it happens that the female that work with us show themselves. You know, we see what we have been talking about in them. They have the capacity to think out of the box. So we found our women very strong, very supportive. They are full of different ideas, different ways of doing things. So invariably, with a board or a management that wants to thrive and succeed, you tend to work with those ones. You tend to uplift those ones. And we found truly, you know, that the women folk have it in them to give that thing extra, that extra value, you know, to the work we do in Monipulo. And for utilizing data, technology, it's something we have embraced, and having the women as the engineers, having the women as the management staff, naturally, when it comes to training, they are the ones that go up. They're the ones that show that they are able to handle something new. And we have embraced working with data very seriously. You see, for a woman to succeed, you have to work extra hard. You have to read more. You have to search. You have to look for extra solutions. And these women that we have in our system show themselves like that. So they grow in the new technology. Our decision making will no longer rely, you know, on people to just say, let's do it this way. We discovered that when we rely on facts, when we rely on a collection of data, you make better decisions. So the way they write ordinary memos, you know, they tell you because this is like that. So we are suggesting that let's do it this way. So it's a culture that we have built in Monipulo, working with data. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So this is a good time to also inform the audience that you would have time to ask questions. So if you have specific questions for Dr. Lillie-Briggs, please make sure you pen that down. She will be back here to respond if you have questions for her. Thank you very much. So I'll let you go briefly and then bring you back at the end of the conversation. So let's go to our lead speaker now, Fumi Ogwe. And thank you so much for all the gems that you had dropped in the course of your conversation. You've been able to show specifically what you've been doing with women in energy networks and, of course, Sigma Limited. But then there is this push towards sustainability. The sustainability conversation keeps gaining more momentum. So I would want to ask Fumi Ogwe, as we transition towards a more sustainable energy future, what role do you see data playing in ensuring gender equity within the energy, oil and gas industry? What specific role or roles do you see data and data analytics playing in ensuring gender equity?
Okay, thank you so much, Blossom, for that question. I think it's really excellent, because when we talk about energy transition or sustainability, a lot of the people that are impacted or that are knowledgeable about what it means are women, and they are not participating, right, in the industry. So you essentially have people that are making policies or trying to transition to something that impacts another group of people that are not there. And so those insights, they can't get it from the data that's available, that's presented. And so you find that a lot of because if you think about sustainability or energy transition, what are we really talking about is home systems, industrial use, and sort of the general impact of climate adaptation issues, and a lot of them is impacted, the primary beneficiaries are women. So if there's a flood, if there's rising temperature levels, if there's lack of access to electricity or lack of access to home cooking, better cooking fuel, all those things is women that know it firsthand what the challenges are, but they're not there at the policy level or the initiatives level or the implementation of. So I think that it's important, like I said, that we adopt technology and that we use the data analytics and machine learning in a manner that where we can make decisions for the initiatives and policies that we need to make to transition efficiently. And therefore, looking at those, getting the insights from all the information that's available out there is critical, that women, or that there's a diverse set of people that are thinking about it. Because if you look at Nigeria as an example, so many communities, rural, urban, have no access to renewable sources of energy, no access. And it's almost like, we're going around with blindfolds. We can't see, or we can't see that the solution is not that complex, And for me, I think things like ESG are good for us. They're very good for us, because it's saying that for every thing that we're doing, what is the environmental and social impact? What is the governance? I mean, imagine doing a coastal road, the magnitude of the one that we've just embarked upon, without thoroughly understanding the environmental and social impact. I mean, these are questions that, if you look at things from a diverse background, you can't miss those sort of you can't miss it. But I think when there's a one-track mind, or there's just one type of people, how they say, if you keep doing the same thing that you're doing over and over again, is the definition of insanity. So I think, things like optimizing what we have, understanding the impact, the needs, bringing a set of people to look at the things and to work for the development of our country is critical.
All right. Thank you very much. I like that word, optimizing. I think this is a good time to bring Mr. Shehu Aliyu now. We've talked a lot, but if there is no finance to, for this future that we're talking about, it's as if we're talking just for the sake of talking. So I would want to ask you a simple question. For the sake of my audience, Shehu Aliyu is Executive Director, Public Sector in First Bank of Nigeria. So how can financial institutions, of course, like First Bank, leverage data analytics to better support women-led businesses, especially in our sector, in the energy sector? And if possible, particularly those ones that are focused on data-driven solutions. Mr. Shehu, come and show us the money.
Thank you very much for having me here today, and good afternoon to co-panelists, to the audience, and my appreciation also to PENGASSAN NUPRC chapter for having me speak at this forum. But before I speak on the question you posed to me, I think it is important I do some context setting.
Okay.
Number one, I must acknowledge and appreciate the insightful presentation made by Chief Mrs. Lulu Briggs and the lead speaker. Forgive me, I have not noted her name. They spoke with passion, they spoke with energy, understandably. These are issues very close to their heart. But I think the gender score sheet on a general basis is not as bad as it is in the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry is male dominated, understandably, and Mrs. Lulu Briggs did allude to this very, very much in her presentation. But when you look at the situation back home in Nigeria, I will not go back to some of the issues she spoke to in terms of the global situation as far as gender equity is concerned. Locally, when you look at the entrepreneurship report in terms of ownership of small, medium, and small and medium, micro, small and medium enterprises, you discover that quite a number of those enterprises are owned by women. One statistic I stumbled on, the publication by Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, which speaks to Small Firms Diary, quoted the ownership of women exclusively owned businesses at 40%. And when you put this together with the ones that are co-owned by men, which is about 12%, you arrive at a figure of 52%, which suggests in actual sense the disadvantage that is the impression of the disadvantage that the woman gender has is actually not in reality, in terms of ownership of businesses. Based on that report, is not as bad as it is. Secondly, if you look at a lot of women, and she is Chief Mrs. Lulu Briggs is a testimony. Given the fact that she survived, she not just survived, but she thrived in the male-dominated oil and gas industry. So quite a number of women across different professions in different fields have made their marks, and they have succeeded significantly in leadership positions when they are entrusted with that. So it's not as bad as it is. Today in the financial sector, of the 5 top major banks in Nigeria, 3 are led by women. And internally in our individual organizations, we embrace diversity, and we are driving inclusion in our own individual ways, putting the gender agenda at the forefront. So I needed to put this context, maybe because the forum we have here today is oil and gas related, but the gender imbalance is not as bad as it is in the oil and gas industry generally. Now, back to your question on data, the place of data in the financial services industry. Data today is worth more than gold. We leverage data in almost all aspects of the operations we engage in, from prospecting, in terms of prospecting for customers, profiling customers, curating solutions that are tailored to meet the needs of customers, and indeed in assessing customers when it comes to credit credit needs or credit requests by customers. And then also in terms of predictive analytics on the trends and the potentials of different sectors and businesses that we bank. So data is so very, very important. And you cannot speak to data without speaking to personalization. Today, the talk is about personalization across different sectors, whether you are in the financial services, whether you are in other services, particularly in services, whether you are in entertainment, it's about personalization. And data comes handy in terms of personalizing customer experience across different touch points and across different product types that customers use. And indeed, in terms of in the area of partnerships, facilitating partnerships and building ecosystems, we leverage data that we have in order to link customers across to suppliers, in terms of linking customers to their markets. So whichever way you look at it, data is so very, very important. And we leverage data not necessarily in terms of women-owned businesses or businesses that are in the data field. It has widespread and universal utility, applicability, if you may say so. So that is to put it in that context, in terms of data use and how we put it within the financial services industry. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And I love the context that you had set. I'm sure at the end of this conversation, you're going to get a lot of questions about how people can, women in this meeting can fund their businesses. So please don't be in a hurry to go. We still have some amazing panelists with us. And I would want to go straight to our sponsor, if I can use that word, Barrister Olayemi Anyanechi. She's the Commission Secretary and Legal Advisor for the NUPRC. Data is an interesting thing, right? And, of course, with this new passage of the PIA, it's not very new anymore, but with the passage of the PIA, so there is a lot of conversation about the legal frameworks, and the legal considerations when data is needed. So I would want you in probably 1 or 2 minutes, if you don't mind, just help us to understand the legal considerations that need to be taken into account when implementing data-driven decisions within the energy sector in Nigeria. What are some of those legal considerations that we need to be mindful of, those pitfalls? They say ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? So just walk us through that in the shortest possible time. Welcome. I'll ask you to unmute so we can hear you.
Thank you very much, Blossom. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
And let me also thank the SPE as well as PENGASSAN for putting this together. And of course, to my team members at NUPRC, you guys do so much, so thank you. And to go to my fellow panelists too, you're very welcome to this session. Now, when you're talking about data, what is key? What is key about data typically goes to privacy. It's useful to note that under the PIA invested data gathered for exploration and production in the NUPRC. But even at that, in using data, we also still consider other rights that other people may have in respect thereto. So even if under the law that data belongs to us, you would realize that people have gathered that data. Sometimes they have the right to use it. Sometimes they have the right to broker it. So we're mainly concerned that people's rights regarding data are well set out. Everybody knows what belongs to what and what powers you can exercise in relation to data. Now, when you talk about data, in addition to our Petroleum Industry Act, there's also the Nigerian Data Protection Act, which was set out. It was passed a few years ago. And that focuses a lot on data privacy. You want to keep people's data private. You want their consent. You want it to be transparent. People need to know how you are using their data. And of course, data security is key. When you talk about oil and gas, we all know that oil and gas is capital intensive, and people are very sensitive about their data. So typically, obligations of confidentiality must be adhered to. Intellectual property is very key. We've had reports, for instance, where somebody says, oh, this person is using my data wrongly. We take that we consider it very, very important. People's intellectual property must be protected. And of course, we have cyber security. We're careful that people keep their data well. At the commission, for instance, we spend quite a lot making sure that our data is safe. We use very, very high security features. It's so high sometimes that when you travel out of the country, if you are not careful, you can't access your data because it senses that you're another location and you must go through security procedures just to log in. So we're very, very careful and sensitive about data security. And we also make sure that even our operators, we're careful that they are aligned with ISO standards. For instance, we have the NDR, that is our data repository. We make sure that they comply, and that's where operators submit their data to. So things like data security, data transparency, and data minimization, really. You don't want to ask people for more information that they need because data is king. You want to be sure that when you're using people's data, you get their consent for it and they know why that data is being taken. So at the commission, we're very, very careful about data. We're careful about its security, its sanctity, and transparency. So, does that answer the question?
Absolutely, it does. But don't be in a hurry to go because I'm certain there will be a lot of burning questions for you at the end of this panel session. So, when you talk of data, of course, you're talking of the very high end of the technology conversation. So that would bring me, of course, to Olatomiwa Williams. I must say I was tempted to ask her about Microsoft leaving Nigeria, but then I decided not to do that. So what future trends do you foresee in the intersection of technology and energy, especially when it comes to data utilization? Microsoft, as we know, is a market leader, especially when it comes to data and AI and all that. So what future trends do you foresee? Before you come in, for the benefit of the audience, Olatomiwa Williams is the country manager for Microsoft Nigeria and Ghana. So the stage is yours, ma'am. Talk to us.
All right. Thank you so much. Really happy to be here. And thanks to all the previous speakers, great insights for technology in energy industry. And of course, on diversity, which is also something that is close to my heart. Just to, respond to your initial comments, Microsoft is still very much around in Nigeria. The fact that I'm on this call is a testament to that. We will continue to support our customers across different segments and empower them with the right level of technology to help them to achieve their business objective. So the question, trends that we see, intersection of technology and energy, especially around data utilization. First, we are in the era of cloud and artificial intelligence, and we believe that artificial intelligence will be key to driving innovation in the energy space going into the future. We've started seeing that already. And some of the future trends that we're seeing in oil and gas industry around AI will cover a number of areas. One is it will help to enhance reservoir modeling and optimization. So AI can really help to create more accurate and dynamic models of oil and gas reservoirs, as well as optimize the extraction and production processes based on real-time data that is going to be gathering and providing feedback. And AI can also help identify new exploration opportunities and help reduce exploration risk because we can now gather data from IoT devices, process them through machine learning and be able to provide predictive analytics of future model. Another area that we see AI uncover or go into the future is really around improved safety and environment in the environment. Based on the fact that we can collect data from different sensors in the environment, so AI can help monitor and prevent potential hazard, such as equipment failures, leakages, spills, or even fire by using sensors or drones with camera that will gather data that can help us to proactively mitigate any potential risk that we see on in any of our oil facility. Another area that we also see AI helping to drive within the energy industry in the future is automated and augmented operations. What does that mean? It means that AI can help automate and augment various aspects of oil and gas operations, such as drilling, pipeline maintenance, logistics, asset management, and customer service as well. So AI can help enhance the skills and productivity of human workers. So this notion of AI is coming to take away work from human. AI has actually come to augment the way a human being work and help us to be more productive. So AI can help unlock new sources of values and innovation that will bring more value within the energy space. And of course, that means we're talking about data-driven innovation and value creation generally. So AI can help unlock new sources of value and innovation from the vast amount of data generated across multiple sources, across multiple devices, and help to aggregate all this data for more informed decision making across board. So in essence, there is enormous opportunity for AI and data-driven technology within the energy space. And we'll continue to see more use cases coming on. The more people we use this AI, the more we see innovation coming from the oil and gas space around AI. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That was straight to the point, and I'm sure we'll find a lot of benefit from those contributions. So we are still on the conversation about data analytics and decision making. So let's go back a bit to sustainable energy, right? And for us in Nigeria, there's this mantra, this is the decade of gas, gas as the transition fuel. So who better to talk to us about gas than Efiam, who happens to be the regional director for SPE for Africa, and of course, the domestic gas business opportunity for the Shell Petroleum Development Company. So gas. In fact, I will be calling you Madam Gas in the course of this conversation, right? So what future do you see? What future? Do you really see this whole gas conversation as something that will stick? And, as we look towards that future of gas for the global energy mix, what role do you see data play in ensuring that, gas remains a relevant and sustainable source of energy?
Thank you very much for that question, Blossom. I think globally, gas has been identified as a transition fuel, right? So it's not as damaging to the environment as the other more solid forms of fuel, like oil and even coal. So I think in terms of determination of what is a transition fuel going into the future, gas, studies have shown that gas is going to play in that global energy mix. Now, when you talk about the role of data in ensuring that gas remains relevant, it's going to become much more important in the future when we want to be able to understand our reservoirs. And that's because the way gas moves in the subsurface is different from the way oil and even water move in the subsurface. So you're going to need enhanced reservoir management strategies, not just in execution of extraction, but in also determining how to sweat existing assets, right? We're going to have to do more with less. So that's where data comes in. It will also help us reduce risks. If you think about the kind of damage that a gas blowout can. I mean, oil is equally bad, but when there's gas in the system as well, it's almost like 10 times worse. So anything that reduces risk in that area also would help. And that's advanced data modeling, machine learning, like my colleagues have talked about, can help us reduce those risks in the exploration, not just to people who are on the rigs or on facilities, but also the equipment, because the gas equipment is an order of magnitude almost more expensive, and also risking the environment, obviously. So having data that makes it more accurate and reduces risk will become a lot more relevant as we go on. It already is, but more so even in the gas space. In terms of real life monitoring, I mean, just talked about Internet of Things and all of that, but again, when it comes to things like leak detection, it's going to be an area where those advanced sensors and those advanced monitoring techniques are going to be needed in facilities, right? To prevent those methane leaks, all those prevent your greenhouse gases from escaping to the atmosphere. Because even though gas is a transition fuel, you also don't want methane to get into the atmosphere and cause damage. So there are areas where you will need to be able to have that real-time monitoring and to see what's going on in the subsurface. You can also talk about that transition to cleaner fuel. By analyzing the data that we currently have, we are finding other ways of integrating natural gas and renewables together, right? And things like optimization of grids, and then making sure that we have that stable energy supply. And that's because data analytics help us to churn a lot of different facets of data together within a common environment, such that you can have you can look at what the trends are, and then look at commonalities beyond what the naked eye can see. Human beings might miss those correlations. So having technology in that space and data in that space really would help that transfer to cleaner energy. Benchmarking is another area we talk about. So, I mean, we have things that we want to achieve as Nigeria, as Africans, but what does that leave us in terms of the global economy? Are we being benchmarked against a yardstick that works for us? So those kind of things are where data can becomes more important to us as we go on. So data analysis will underpin the industry's innovation and technology, because we'll find ways to be smarter, we'll find ways to create that smart infrastructure, and then to implement all these things together and reduce loss, enhance productivity, and so on. I think one other interesting thing that we seem to miss is also data-driven storytelling. You see, the industry has a very bad name, maybe not in Nigeria, and in many places in Africa. I think we still have a viable oil and gas industry. But when you leave the shores of Nigeria, going to places in Europe or some places in North America, the oil and gas industry, forget about gas, just hear oil and gas, fossil fuels, it has quite a negative connotation in some areas. But by the time you have data that supports the work that we're doing, that shows that there are ways that we can still produce this energy for the energy that we need, not in a way that produces the environment, then we have something that is data-driven, it's the storyline that is data-driven, that would help to make a much more positive perception and encourage stakeholder engagement. And of course, transparency, because I think a lot of the industry, we like to talk to ourselves, but it's becoming more and more important because our investors are not always necessarily in the industry. Our stakeholders are not always in the industry. So we need some data-driven storytelling and analysis that shows the work that we are doing to transition and to maintain that renewable energy space, in addition to gas in Nigeria and other parts of Africa as well. So we need to leverage this data. We need to tie it in with our aspirations for the gas industry as well, so we can address all these challenges. I hope that helps.
Certainly. And I actually love that you stopped at challenges, because I was reserving that question for Zainab. So we move quickly to Zainab. Bonjour. I don't know if I pronounced that very well. So it's
bonjour.
So Zainab Deity is a project manager, energy sector portfolio for the Agence Française de Développement. And your company, you do a lot in the energy sector. Specifically, your work with the Transition Company of Nigeria, with the DISCOs, and of course for NAPTIN as well. So I'm sure in the course of working with this key stakeholders in the electricity energy space, right? There are a lot of challenges that you undoubtedly face in collecting and analyzing data. So how do you navigate and address these challenges?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And yes, we do work predominantly within, at the moment, a large portion of our investment or the financing goes into the transmission project, NAPTIN, which is for also power sector training and capacity building, and then transmission lines and substations, which are really large scale projects and require a lot of information even before you start the project. And the truth is, most of the challenges we tend to have is, I really enjoyed when Fumi mentioned something about environmental assessment. Now, the technical information is there. It's pretty much, it's not necessarily new technology per se, even though we're upgrading our system, we're expanding our system. But when we come to environmental assessments is where we tend to have a lot of challenges, because it requires not just the environmental, but the social aspect, which can be the hardest part for us when we come to implement some of these projects that move through different communities, different land masses, and would require sometimes some sort of compensation or replacement of land or any sort of thing, movement of people. And that is a big challenge, because it's not only the information we require at the moment, the data of the people, what they're earning, the amount of compensation, but ensuring that there is equity in this compensation. Now, mind you, a lot of these areas are also quite, maybe a lot of them are quite rural, or just socially, I think our culture is male dominated in that the men are the head of the families. So when you go to compensate, you have to make sure the women in the family, the young people in the family are aware of what the compensation is. But to do that, you need information. You need to know who is involved in the family. You need to know how to compensate them to make sure they also have access to this financing and they're not completely excluded and marginalized, not knowing what they will gain from these compensation, which is supposed to be to make sure that you retain a standard of living or improve it when you compensate for any sort of movement, land replacement, people replacement. Now, I want to go back and be more specific about data issues. So we do not necessarily have, in Nigeria, I will speak specifically for many issues are that the scarcity of data and then the accessibility of what is actually available. Now, to get the data is a problem because maybe it's not there, but for some agencies or corporations or whoever has the data within Nigeria, there's a reluctance to share the data, even for projects that Nigeria said, we want this to be financed. It becomes an issue of actually access, because maybe it's not wanting to be criticized, but the point is not to criticize, it's to know what's available and know how to do some sort of gap analysis to make sure we have the most recent data and the most accurate data. So what we find is that we have the issue of reliable, comprehensive data on energy consumption, on resources and infrastructure, scarce or non-existent. I would say TCN have done a pretty decent job to improve their data in terms of, especially with grid codes and what they're supplying and all of that. But it's still, there's a long way to go. I think this is definitely more of a general thing, but you can see that, with there's now an improvement in how their data is collected, and they're trying to upgrade their system to real-time data collection as well. I mean, our infrastructure is old, so that needs to be upgraded to be able to now include or integrate these new sort of what we've all been talking about, remote sensoring and real-time data collection. So that's the next one, remote sensoring and satellite data. AFD uses satellite imagery and remote sensing, but if it's also not available or the infrastructure is not even able to be, it's not compatible with these softwares or equipment, then there's an issue to collecting, but field surveys help, right? This is something we are able to do. We include the community, make sure down to the last person, what are their needs? And this is where we also make sure inclusion of different demographics, what they need, energy needs, and what is important to them. Because the males of the society might just require power for one or two things. The women will tell you, not just power, but energy. Oh, this is what we use, which means impacts their health, impacts how much time they have to spend cutting firewood, getting coal, transporting it, all of that kind of stuff. So when you do field surveys and community engagement, those are solutions for what we have at the moment. So these are some challenges, but I know that, there might be slower ways of getting some of this information, but there are ways of getting this data. If only we would implement them. This is now the issue, is making sure we implement them. And actually also we have to have like a standardized way of getting this data, because you can find data, but there's no standard sort of repository to get this data, to make sure it is across the board, everybody will be okay with it, whether it's the World Bank, whether it's AFD, which we are actually a public institution, financial institution from France that is 100% Paris Agreement aligned. So all our projects have to also be aligned to emissions targets for each country, NDC contributions that they have set up for themselves, the energy transition plans. So we have to always go back to make sure whatever project we're designing or we're working with for a country that has requested, then it has to be aligned, not only Paris Agreement, but what their also plans are for that energy transition. We can also talk about, I mentioned our data, then capacity. This is where, we talk about NAPTing, and the rest of it is, there's also a capacity issue. A lot of times, we keep bringing in outsiders to do a lot of the work, and they take back this knowledge. When they do the work, they take back the knowledge. We need to upgrade, we need to update our capacity as a people, as we saw for, and make sure we have the resource in-house to be able to do the work that we need. It does cost a lot.
All right.
To bring in all right, thank you. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's really very instructive. And I'm sure the work you're doing with NAPTing will sort of help to bridge that gap, especially the human capacity development side, right? So we have a question for Ola Williams from Microsoft. And I think Ogogo Effiam might also want to throw some light in, because I think this is talking about Shell data. So I'm going to read that question. He said, I'm curious about the latest OSDU. OSDU in this case is talking about the Open Subsurface Data Universe. It's originally derived from Shell's subsurface data universe. That's really technical. I'm hoping that we're able to talk about that. So it's saying, I'm curious about the latest OSDU development making waves in the energy industry. How does Microsoft play a role here, and what is the level of implementation in Africa? Because I am yet to hear about OSDU being used in Nigeria, whereas it is making waves in all other organizations. So this question is from Blessing Tukura. She asked Ola Williams, and hopefully, Ogo Effiam, if you also have some insight to throw in there, we will be very thankful. So the stage is yours, Ola Williams, if you are still here. Okay, I think, okay, so while we wait for her to come back, maybe Ogogo, if you can take that, if you're able to throw some light on that for us.
So I'm not quite sure what in what context the question is about. I think it's really skewed more towards the use of data. And again, if I want to talk about how data is used, I'm not going to talk just from a Shell perspective. I'll rather talk from an industry perspective, because generally speaking, the industry uses the same kind of information. Yes, they may have minor tweaks here and there where they use slightly differently or so on, but I mean, the seismic data, which we've talked about, which for those of us who are non-technical, it's like an ultrasound of the earth, right? So there's seismic data, there's well data, there 3D and 4D seismic data. I remember when I first joined the industry, we used to use 2D data, we overlaid them across each other, and then we physically map these things across like that. And then now you can do that in the 2D space. And of course, once you introduce changes to the subsurface, you can even track that in the 4D space, which is an exciting way of using data. In terms of how data is shared across the industry, I think tools and techniques typically are shared generally. So for example, if I want to use 4D as an example, 4D technology is not new. Forward modeling technology is not new. Maybe it's proprietary where the tools are designed by the different companies. So which means a Shell may have its own tool, Schlumberger may have a tool that it creates for the industry, Baker Hughes may have a tool that is created for the industry, and so on and so forth. But in terms of, if you go back to the first principles, as they say, and you want to talk about the data themselves, it really is spreads across different companies in that sense. So, you know, it's got, like I talked about, seismic data, you've got well data that is also acquired, that tells you everything about what's going on within the well bore. You've got reservoir modeling. I've also had the privilege of interacting with models, reservoir models from different companies. And essentially, they tell you the same thing. Really. I mean, how it does it is different, but it's kind of like a GPS. Your data is like GPS. It just tells you where you're going to go, but ultimately you get to the same or similar destinations at the end of the day. So how is the oil flowing? Where is it located? How is it moving from port to port? And how do you get it out faster? Things like that. So I would leave it at that for now. Maybe something more specific around.
Please, my head is steady already, but tell me.
I'm sorry, let's mute our mics. We are not on the stage. All right, thank you so much. I'm hoping the MC can help us mute the person. All right. Sorry. Your head is spinning you. Apologies for that. Too much knowledge.
Yes, to be fair, we actually have used a lot of really technical words in this place. I've also found that the audience is a mix of technical and non-technical people. We've got people who
I totally get that. Thank you so much.
I definitely
thank you very much. Yeah. So someone sort of helped us to throw more light on the several benefits of AI. I'm just going to read that so we can all benefit from that. But it's right there in the chat. He said Ola Williams highlighted several benefits of AI, including reservoir modeling and optimization, new opportunity, identification, exploration, risk mitigation, improved safety and prevention of potential hazards within the energy industry. AI achieves this by utilizing web scraping and crawling to automatically extract data from websites, online databases, and other internet sources. Access to accurate data online is essential to achieve this. I think this ties into some of the challenges that Zainab had talked about earlier. And of course, we also had the NUPRC legal advisor also talked to us about legal frameworks about around data access. So I think I would have one more opportunity for maybe two live questions or one. Yeah, so if you are in the room, if you're in the room and you have a question, I think I can unmute you and just take that question. Yes, go.
I just want to make a very small comment about Temitope's question around access to accurate data online is essential.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I think we've not underscored, and I think we've said it in different ways. Data, yes, there are ways that we can democratize with data and then make it available to everyone. But because data is also a competitive edge for every company, it's not something you're going to see on the internet, just lying around. It's a competitive advantage for each company. And don't forget that companies are here to compete and to make money at the end of the day. So you're not going to find, I'm unlikely to find a place online where you see well data and just seismic data and all that just lying around that you can just take, except data that is not competitively sensitive. We also talked about data protection. We've talked about cyber security of the data. There's a reason why these things are in place. It's because they cost billions and billions of dollars. And companies, it actually is even provide safety for the people who are using the data as well. I talked about people being on the rigs and having that data available to keep them safe. So I just wanted to we put that little bit here. And let's not forget that. There's a reason why.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So if I can have one live question, that would be nice. If you could just use the reactions and just raise your hand, I'll call you to ask a live question to any member of the panel, except me, of course, right? So please go ahead. I'm not seeing any raised hands. If I see one, I'll be very happy to unmute the person and bring the person on board. So while we wait for that, I think this is a good time to invite Mr. Anoche, that's the section chair, to come in and sort of help us wrap up this panel session. Mr. Victor, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I will just have to make comment from what some of the speakers have said, like our lead speaker, Fumi, she made a very important point. Women is a smart thing to do. Recently, I remember the Nigerian government, the lawmakers are trying to debate on changing a national anthem to the old anthem. I remember one of the lawmakers saying that we should change the part that have motherland to fatherland because of our culture. So that really passed a message to me, and I think it's one of the things that's if it's affecting women inclusion in leadership today, because a lot of people, because of the kind of culture that we have, it has very strong influence on the decisions that people actually take. And I want to thank our keynote speaker, because she's showing example by what she's doing in her company. So I think if we have more women that are currently in leadership position emulating what she has done, then we start seeing more women in various positions, and this can actually show that women are capable of delivering when we give them opportunities. So those of us that are women that are in leadership position, we should try to also create opportunity for other women to be part of it. And I also like to mention what she's doing. A keynote speaker with her foundation. I saw it recently in the news, giving with her foundation, supporting students. And when I saw the video clip, I saw a lot of female students, benefiting from her foundation. So these are some of the ways, as individuals, that we can also use to push women inclusion in leadership. I think it has been an interesting session so far. So let me give opportunity to others to speak. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I'm still waiting for my hands. There are two hands. I hope I'm able to get that. Okay, so Mary, I'm going to unmute you now, and I'll just give you 30 seconds to ask your question. So Mary, please come in. Mary Umor.
Yes. Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. I actually joined the meeting late, but what I heard was really phenomenal and very, very encouraging. I'll just call my comment from the last speaker and the presenter. We have forgotten her first name. In the advocacy and getting the stakeholders to understand what exactly is at stake, especially when it comes to women being involved and women giving the information needed for what needs to be done in different aspects, climate change, oil exploration, and all that. It's always best to hear from the voice, from the mouth of women who are actually working this from one woman to another, for them to be included, and they're able to communicate to the home base, so the men understand that even though we're patrilineal, without the woman as the backbone, a lot of things will not work. So on the advocacy for that, I think we should encourage women to be in the forefront, to speak to the women who will also speak to the men, to get this down to the grassroots. I'm into quality assurance and special education, so I've seen it working when we place the gender thing, the gender equity thing. It actually seeps through, and a lot of strides and grounds will be covered, I believe, if this is done. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mary. That's very instructive, and we thank you for bringing that to us. So finally, I'm going to ask Ruth Adelagu to unmute and then come in quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm Professor Ruth Adelagun. Actually, I'm a lecturer. I'm not in the energy world. I'm glad to hear that one of the speakers said, I think our lead speaker, that she does have a foundation whereby she reaches out to people, to young girls. And I want to say this, that to increase and improve diversity, inclusion, empowering women, that the oil companies should be able to do more, to be able to, maybe in terms of research, in terms of scholarship. I don't know if there are processes, grants that are available that the girl child can be able to access. Since you are at the leadership position, we want to empower not just at the top, but a bottom-up approach method to be able to bring in more girls, especially in the STEM. From one of the speakers, that too many girls are shunning away from STEM programs. I hope we understand what I'm trying to say. Do we have any foundation? Do we have any process in position to include, to increase the number of girls seeking courses and discipline in STEM education? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So this is the beauty of events and conversations like this. So I am setting Victor Anoche and his team in SPE. They are taking notes of that. So I think it would be good to have a handshake between some of the industry leaders that are in the room today, like Dr. Lulu Briggs, Mrs. Fumi Ogwe. So Victor, if you can find a way to create that handshake, I think it would be something that Professor Ruth would also benefit from, that will speak directly to what she has shared with us. So with that contribution, I would want to very, very warmly and firmly thank all of our panelists, and of course, all of our participants that were able to benefit from their wealth of experience. Thank you very much. We're supposed to stop at 16:20, so I would give the MC 1 more minute. I will dash the MC 1 minute because we are kind and we're generous like that. So thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's me leaving the stage at this time. It's been a pleasure moderating this session. Thank you.
Awesome, phenomenal presentation, phenomenal moderating by our superstar moderator. Thank you so much to Blossom Ozurumba, who of course is from NNPC Limited. Please, I want to see your chat. I want to see your comments. Thank Blossom. Give us some virtual applause, please. Appreciate her. It was an amazing session coordinated by the moderator. We're switching gears right now, ladies and gentlemen, to other parts of the event. I'll start by saying that this is a clarion call that you should be part of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. Of course, the SPE has several benefits which you should actually enjoy. The membership due for SPE Abuja is live on your screen. You can kindly help us do a screenshot so that you can send a message or call our membership chair, Engineer Ogolo, to be part of the membership. SPE Abuja has several media platforms: the YouTube, Gmail, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the X, and of course, Instagram. You can go to our YouTube and see all of our old videos, technical sessions, which of course will help you learn 1 or 2 about the energy industry. We have amazing events organized by the Society of Engineers Petroleum, Society of Petroleum Engineers Nigerian Council. Of course, the first is the Africa Gas Innovation Summit. It holds June 13th to 14th, 2024. Please, you can take a screenshot of the flyer on your screen so that you can participate in the event. We have the NICE, our biggest event, happening from Monday, the 5th of August, 10 a.m. live at Echo Hotels and Suites in Lagos, Nigeria. You can actually take a screenshot of this, of course, so you can have more information about the event. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Dr. Ikechukwu Okafor, the program's chair, for his closing remark, and then we have the vote of thanks after his. Dr. Ikechukwu, the stage is yours, sir. Program's chair, SPE Abuja section, sir.
I've been talking. Can you hear me? I didn't unmute my mic. I've been talking.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Let me stand on existing protocol. I've been blown away. I've been blown away. I must say that I've been blown away by the amazing conversation from the keynote speaker to the speaker after her, and to the panel session, and to the amazing super moderator, Madam Blossom. It's been a wonderful conversation, because effectively we can see that we are all, all of us are converging at the point where we agree that data-driven decision making is the way to go, because it removes every bias, it removes sentiment, it is clear and valid for everyone to see. And so it's amazing having been a part of this. A big thank you to SPE Abuja section, our partners, NUPRC, PENGASSAN, and everyone who has made this a huge success. I can't thank you enough. I can't really thank you enough. Farida, you've done an amazing job. Thank you so much. And so, on behalf of SPE, the closing remark would be, we pushed for this, we did it with the assistance of the amazing people that were on this board. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Akbar.
Thank you so much, our amazing programs chair, Dr. Ikechukwu Okafor. Switching gears immediately. After this vote of thanks, we just have a photo session and we are done. Ladies and gentlemen, please, for the vote of thanks, the chairman, PENGASSAN Women Commission, NUPRC branch, Mrs. Umobolande Bello. Now, please, the stage is yours for your vote of thanks.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello,
yes,
can
we
I
can
be?
hear you. We can hear you.
Hey, it has been exciting and fantastic. On behalf of NUPRC branch worldwide, I would like to say a very big thank you to SPE for this fantastic collaboration and for the committee that has put this program together. It has been enriching. I want to say a big thank you to the keynote speaker, a big thank you to the lead speakers, a big thank you to all the panelists. It has been mind-blowing indeed, and I've been jotting down notes on everything I've learned today, and I know that we are going back better than we came on this call. I would just like to say that there is no limit except the limit you place on yourself. As women, there is no height you cannot attain. There is nothing you cannot achieve except you put a limit to yourself. With that, I'll say thank you to everyone, every participant. Thank you for joining this call and have a beautiful evening. See you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, switching gears, we would like to have a group photograph. Thanks to all of our committee members on the call. Thank you, and thank you. So please kindly turn on your video cameras. Let's see your faces for a snapshot. Now, this snapshot is going to go on all of our social media platforms. So we'd like to have you smile. We'd like to see how beautiful you look from wherever you are. So please.
It is disabled.
And on your video cameras, I'm still waiting for you.
It is disabled. The host.
She said it is disabled. They can't turn their video camera.
Okay, let's.
The host must enable.
Wow. I guess it could be from, because some other people that are not co-hosts are turning on their video cameras. So I don't understand why some others don't. Okay, for those with their cameras, thank you for turning them on. Can you just do me a favor, your thumbs up, and when I say SPE, respond with cleaner energy. Yeah, I can see it. Cameras are coming on. Thank you. When I say SPE, you respond with cleaner energy with your thumbs up. I can see your smile. I can see your smile. I can smile better. I can smile better. SPE.
Cleaner energy. Our videos are disabled.
Cleaner energy.
SPE and E.
Our videos are on.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, you can communicate for the next 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes, I'll end the meeting. Just chat, network, and exchange LinkedIn contacts. Thank you.
We can't put our videos on. It's so sad.
But we can hear your voice, ma.